What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We have Bitcoin coming back. We have the SPY almost at all-time highs once again, touching it time by time, but bouncing off of it. And I'm going to be telling you guys how you guys can get some plays very early, earlier than YouTube. So let's get started with the video. We have a lot to cover, a lot to talk about with news, and give you guys some supports and resistance and some plays towards the end of the video. So without further ado, let's get started. First thing we got to talk about is gold. Gold is breaking out like crazy. This and other metals is showing some fear in the overall market. One stock that I'm personally watching is GLD. It's an ETF that moves with gold, but you can get some option plays with this one if you guys do want to play the gold trend without buying actual physical gold. And you can make a decent amount of money off of this one, especially with the way that it is moving. It is moving pretty well right now to the upside. And once gold moves, man, this thing moves for a long time. With that being said, 8 out of the 9 recent days, we have been green with gold in general. And with that also being said, once we do get a pullback, you can also play the pullback to the downside. So keep gold on your mind and on your radar, especially as the rate cuts come out. We can potentially see a tiny pullback and or just a continuation to the upside. But I'm personally watching GLD and I'm going to be calling out some plays on my X account. So if you guys are interested, go follow me. With that being said, though, as we see the dollar fall, people are putting their money into trust and ETFs in gold. Gold has been going insane and you don't want to miss out on it. So we have been seeing a lot more money flowing into gold. As you can see, a lot of countries, a lot of bigger firms investing big money into gold and the ETFs that is kind of powering it, like GLD and stuff like that. So honestly, that is pretty good. Like I said before, man, gold has been green for the past eight out of 9 days. As we've seen in the past, when gold runs, we see it continue to run for a long period of time. So do you guys think we could hit $4,000 with gold? Or is it just gonna, maybe have a tiny little pullback back down to like 3,500, and then we might test that 4,000? But honestly, man, I'm being patient with gold, but gold, you can make a decent long-term play to the upside and make a decent amount of money. I've been doing that recently. This is just my longer term holds for options. I hold for like a month or something like that. Make a decent profit. So yeah. But another thing to watch is SLV, and that is silver. Silver has been moving up with gold, but I mean it's not really moving up as big as gold. But we've seen a big move in silver hitting its highest level in 14 years yesterday, which is kind of insane and parabolic. So silver is one that you want to have on your radar as well. But the overall economy isn't really looking too good in general. We got some more data like the 60-day loan delinquency coming out. So more in the overall economy, we see the job sector isn't doing that well, but that is going to give us better chances of a rate cut. And we do have some big data coming out Thursday and today. So we're going to be talking about that when we get to the stock market calendar and the earnings. But with that being said, the 60-day delinquency rates for auto loans are getting to a new high as well. Like we've seen with a lot of data in the past that I showed you guys in the videos, that we're getting to some crazy levels. And like I showed you guys, the value on stocks like the S&P 500 and stuff like that, we're just breaking like weird levels to say. But the value on stocks and other economic data, we are breaking levels seen in some bad times like the dot-com bubble and more in the Great Recession. So this is one crazy recession signal that we are getting indeed, especially back in the day when we had this level, the stock market didn't really perform that well. So honestly, are we getting to a level where we can like have a bigger downtrend? I don't know yet. I'm not going to say yes. I'm not going to say no, but this is one thing to watch for a recession signal in general. And we also have falling construction spending. And honestly, man, this is another recession signal. And honestly, it isn't really looking too good overall. Like we had like the recent falls and bad times. So keep this in mind overall. It isn't really falling like a crazy amount yet. But honestly, man, if we get a little bit lower, like maybe around this level right here, we might be able to, maybe see the stock market do a little bit worse in the overall economy. So honestly, it is getting kind of scarier. It's getting kind of more real. And I want to talk more about September. I think people covered this already, but keep in mind that September is relatively bearish overall. And once we're like right now, we're at the all-time highs. So right now, man, I don't know, maybe we might have a bigger pullback in September, and or this might be a green September. There are still chances of a green September, so don't let the seasonality get in your head too much. But honestly, man, as we can see, like the SPY being close to like all-time highs, and stuff like that. We're not really looking red right now in September. So honestly, man, I'm just having my patience. I'm going to see where we fully lead to. But some of the plays that we have been calling out, especially on Friday, man, this was a big play that a lot of people made money on. So if you guys are interested, follow me on X. I'm calling out all of my plays and some easy plays, like easy plays that make a lot of money. The play on Friday made us 300%. And the play yesterday, we did play it off that 649.5 level all the way down to that 647.6. Made a decent amount of money in the money. So honestly, follow me on X if you guys are interested in some plays. We also made an NVIDIA play too that we're gonna be talking about a little bit later. But with that being said, man, with the SPY being close to all-time highs, we are testing that 649.5 to that 650 level, and honestly just been bouncing off of it. So if we can get a clear break of that 650, we can see how it reacts to 652.5, and if we can continue upwards, we could potentially finally break past that 650 and look at other levels to watch. But if we can't break that 650 level, it's going to be rinse and repeat for some put options on the SPY until we do fully break that 650 level. You can rinse and repeat, but I recommend putting your initial investment in. So let's say if you're trading, day trading option plays, maybe you're doing like $1,000 a trade, you can rinse and repeat, put options on that 650 multiple times, but only do 1,000. Don't do your profit. Like let's say if you 100%ed it, you had $2,000 afterwards. Don't put $2,000 in the next trade. Just put 1,000 in the next one, and you could potentially make maybe 500 off that one if it does do like very well. But if you keep on putting your profits in, you're going to start stacking it up. I know you'll make more money, but at the same time, once we do make a break from that 650, and what if the stock goes up to like 655? You just lost like all of your profits for that week and all of your rinse and repeat profit. But let's say if you only had your 1,000 in, you're probably going to be losing max maybe like $500 on that trade, especially if you have a stop loss of like $250 or something like that. You're not going to be losing that bunch of money, and you're still going to carry on some profit with those rinse and repeats that you did in the past. So be very, very careful with this play, but I am always watching that 650 to that 652 level to see if we can make a bounce back downwards. And I normally get in pretty late, like that 652 one. I got in at around 651, and then it started falling even more. So honestly, just have your patience. If you see it start falling and you see it falling even greater, honestly, that is a great play to make overall. So going over to earnings, you guys can screenshot this list if you guys want. We do have a little bit, not as big as last week. Like last week we had Broadcom. I think Broadcom was pretty big. Honestly, it went up a decent amount. With that all being said, we did have some big moves with Broadcom today that we're going to be talking about as well. But one thing that I am pumped about is GameStop. I have it in my long term. I posted the long term on the X account, and my GameStop, I think my average is like $29, which isn't that good. I personally like to get in at that $20 level, but right now it isn't really looking too good. So maybe this earnings can give me a chance to sell it and reposition myself in GameStop in general. So maybe if we can get a big push to the upside, I can finally sell my long term in GameStop and potentially just reposition it or just put it into another stock. We also have Oracle. Oracle is another one that's pretty big. It moves a decent amount, so you can potentially make some money. Chewy's okay. And then we have Adobe. Adobe sometimes makes bigger moves. That's a good long-term stock to an extent. It's not really moving as good as it used to, but this is the earnings overall. Moving over to some data. So basically, man, Monday, we did have consumer credit come out at 16 billion. The forecast was 10.5 and the previous was 9.6. And then today we have the optimism index. This might move the market, but maybe not. But it's going to come out very, very early. So keep that on your mind. But on Wednesday, we have a little bit bigger of data coming out. So an hour before market opens, we got the producer price index, core PPI year over year, and just PPI in general. And we have wholesale inventories 30 minutes after market opens. Thursday is a little bit bigger. We have consumer price index, CPI, and initial jobless claims. So this can all move the market an hour before market opens. So keep that in mind overall. We do have the monthly U.S. federal budget. And then on Friday, we have the consumer sentiment, and that is going to be 30 minutes after market opens. And also today, not really on on the stock market calendar. I don't know why it would be, but Tuesday, September 9th, today, we do have the Apple event and the iPhone 17. They're going to be announcing, honestly, one of the slimmest iPhones out, which is kind of insane. So I'm kind of pumped to see. but they do have a new iPhone Air, new watches, heart rate tracking, AirPods, which well, I don't even know, but I'm pretty pumped for the AirPods. I might scoop some new AirPods. But honestly, man, we do have the Apple event coming out, so you can watch Apple stock to see if investors are happy or not. So this is one thing that I'm gonna have on my radar overall. We did see Robinhood stock soared 16% on being included in the S&P 500, and this is kind of insane to look at just because of how Hood truly moved like within the last year. Like it's been moving a great amount. I think I'm still up like 120% on this one. This one is one that I'm gonna hold for the long time, like a long period of time. But with that being said, with the movements that we had previously, like I think my average cost, I think it's like $68. But with that being said, at the highs right now, getting included in the S&P 500 kind of looks good for a stock because that means that people see that it has more room to move to the upside. And honestly, man, you could probably see Robinhood to like $200 to $300 very, very soon. So this is one thing that I'm very, very pumped about, and I have it in my long term already, and I'm going to be holding it for the long term. So maybe 5, 10 years max, maybe even longer if it continues to move like even more. Another stock that moved parabolic yesterday was OCTO. And honestly, man, this one moved 3,000% in one day. But basically, they will sell $250 million in stock to buy up world coin tokens. It is a good strategy, and it's kind of what, MSTR and a lot of other stocks are doing. And that's, I mean, if you see MSTR moved a decent amount too. But this one went from like $1 to $2 to $50, which is insane. I wonder if like how people feel about being invested in it before. Maybe even if you had like $1,000, that's a life changing move. But like I said, man, it moved 3,000% in one day with this news. It is a very high risk and high reward stock, so be careful with this one overall. But this one is one that I do recommend having on your radars overall. And honestly, man, we might have a continuation to the upside. You might see it at the highs of $83. But if not, I would have my patience with this one, especially if we start falling down. You don't want to get in at $50 and it goes back down to like 5. So just have your patience with this one. But this one did move an insane amount. Some other ones that I wanted to watch, indeed, AI stocks in general, but Palantir moved a crazy amount at market open. We also seen NIFTA move crazy at market open and some other chip stocks, especially Broadcom. Broadcom moved a crazy amount. I told you guys I was going to check it out later, but it's mainly just chip stocks that moved up, had a big green for like 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes. I personally caught out this play too, but I caught it out on NVIDIA and I got into a call option. I think I got in a little bit later. I got in at like 168.5. And honestly, I sold and I made one of the plays free and I just held that one. I'm probably going to hold it a little bit longer. With that being said, NVIDIA, if we zoom it out a little bit more, why it's not really looking too good yet is because of like how it's reacting right now. I feel like 170 is a good price for NVIDIA overall, but last time we broke below like 170, we easily broke above it and we broke to like at least 175. Like I want to see at least a 175 push before we can call this stock bullish once again, and to see that investors are like, still loading up on NVIDIA. But I am going to be waiting for like a 175 break to honestly have some longer term plays with it and to play it more often. But with that being said, man, we have been moving pretty slow. We had a little breakdown, but then we kind of broke back up. So I want to see how it reacts to that 170. If we could break above that 170, 172.5, 174, and that 175 level. But I kind of just want to see a big move overall and to see if we can break back up to that 175. And if we can, we got room to move to that 180 overall with NVIDIA. But this is just one to have patience with. And going back to Hood, man, Hood did have a big movement off that S&P 500 getting added basically. I think we got some news of it like Friday night. So we did see some big moves upwards and then it just continued yesterday. So today, let's see if we can continue to the upside, maybe see if we can break that 120. If not, we might fill some gaps back downward. So first level is 114.5. 112 and that 110 to the downside. If we break below 110, we might see like 105. But honestly, right now, there's a lot of hype behind Hood. So have this on your mind and on your radar overall because this one is pretty decent and it moves pretty decent as well. But let's get to Fed rate cuts, man. People are saying that we might even get a 50 basis point cut. So honestly, that is pretty parabolic. Do you guys think we'll get 25 or 50? But the chances of a 25 cut is 80%, and a 50% cut is a 19% now, and then maintaining is 5%. So honestly, right now it is looking pretty good overall. But honestly, man, I think we're gonna get a rate cut in September overall. This is gonna happen the 17th, so keep that on your mind. We're still in neutral, but we're a little bit higher than we were last time we checked. So maybe we can get in the greed very, very soon. And once we get in the greed, we might see a little bit more tech stocks, take a more green candle basically. But talking about crypto in general, we did have a breakup in Bitcoin. I seen this morning that we had a big breakup. We touched that 113, but then we fell off of it. So if we get a continuation to the upside with crypto in general, we have XRP breaking that $3 level. And then if we get to Ethereum, we got Ethereum looking pretty well as well. But honestly, man, yesterday Ethereum looked pretty good too, but it didn't really break any key levels. So honestly, first key level would be that 4,500. And then if we can break past that, we could potentially get some bigger levels. But you got to see it break that 4,500 to, be bullish on Ethereum overall. With that being said, ETHA is an ETF that moves with Ethereum. IBIT is a ETF that moves with Bitcoin. And you also have the other ones like MSTR. You can also trade Hood. Hood does have some hype behind it, so Hood can be a little bit more bullish, especially if crypto goes up. You could trade Hood to the upside with crypto going up and the hype with the S&P 500. And you also have, last but not least, Coin. Coin moves with Bitcoin as well. So you could trade all of these stocks if you guys are interested, if you guys see bigger moves with crypto in general. But keep all of this on your mind and on your radar, man. Follow me on X. You guys will get some early plays. I personally put a lot of money into news articles that give us the news early, and I just post it over there. So other than you guys spending money, you guys could just follow me, or you even got to follow me. You can just type in my name, check out what I posted recently if you guys want to get some news. But I do recommend having those post notifications on so you guys never miss out on a play or any early news. But smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good luck trading today.